Imagine you hear a crisp smartphone notification ping.
Oh, that sound we all instantly recognize.
Right. And then there's just a long, deliberate 5-second silence.
Just absolute quiet.
You send someone a message, you see those little typing dots appear.
And then they disappear.
Exactly. They just vanish. Minutes pass,
Hmm.
then, hours. And suddenly you feel something strange.
Anxiety.
Yes, anxiety. Did you say something wrong? Did they ignore you?
It's just so relatable.
I mean, the message itself didn't change. But that digital silence completely changed how it feels.
It's an incredibly potent, universally shared modern experience.
It really is. And that tiny moment reveals something much deeper. Technology has quietly changed how humans experience time, silence, and emotional security.
It's rewired us, basically.
Totally. So, welcome to the deep dive. We have a seriously fascinating stack of sources for you today.
I'm really excited about this one.
Me too. Our mission today is to uncover how the digital infrastructure we use every single day has fundamentally rewired our brains and our social expectations.
We've got a lot of ground to cover.
We do. We're looking at academic papers on sociology, this concept of digital time, cross-cultural communication studies, and even a deep dive into the psychology of modern relationships. Oh, and something called phubbing.
What's fascinating here is that we have collectively, without really even noticing, moved away from linear clock time.
Right, the old industrial era time.
Exactly. For generations, time was a mechanical, shared reality. It was standardized by, the factory whistle or the train schedule.
Time was just something we passed through.
Right. But the sources highlight that we've entered an entirely new temporal order. It's defined by acceleration, fragmentation, and algorithmic management.
So to really understand why being left on read feels so incredibly intense for you today, we have to look back at how we used to communicate.
We have to look at the history of it all.
Right. So let's think about the progression. We went from smoke signals to carrier pigeons to letters and then landlines.
Yeah, and in the past, the space between sending a message and getting a reply was just a physical necessity.
Waiting was totally normal.
Completely normal. Silence meant absolutely nothing other than the fact that, the mail was slow.
Or they were just out of the house.
Right. The physical friction of communication was an undeniable reality. Silence was just an invisible absence of communication.
Okay, let's unpack this with a really great analogy from the sources. Sending a letter back then was like dropping a stone in a deep well and just walking away.
You didn't stand there waiting for the splash.
Exactly. You just went about your day.
Yeah.
But sending a text today is like handing someone a note and just staring directly at their face while they read it.
That's deeply unsettling when you picture it that way.
Right. But it's true. And this is where the academic texts introduce this concept of digital time.
Yeah, the socio-technical construct.
Right. It's driven by our smartphones and algorithms, and it completely blurs the lines between work, leisure, and rest.
We've built this always-on culture, and because of that, the nature of silence has fundamentally transformed.
Silence is visible now.
Exactly. It's no longer invisible. It is time-stamped and highly legible. According to the cross-cultural studies we looked at, digital silence has actually become a deliberate, pragmatic strategy.
So turning the lack of a message into a very loud message itself.
Precisely. If someone could respond, but doesn't, that silence becomes meaning.
And if silence is now this really loud message, it's the specific features built into our apps that have given it a megaphone.
Oh, absolutely. The design choices matter.
I mean, let's list the culprits here. Typing indicators, the last seen online statuses, instant delivery.
And the infamous read receipts.
The blue checks. I mean, WhatsApp alone processes roughly 65 billion messages a day.
It's just a staggering amount of data.
Think about the psychological weight of 65 billion blue checks lighting up every single day.
It's wild. And these signals created a totally new psychological rule for society.
Right, which the sources connect to expectancy violations theory.
Yes. We essentially have these general availability expectations now. It's the societal norm that, texts should be answered quickly.
Because we all have phones in our pockets all the time.
Exactly. But then you add particularized expectations. That's when you definitively know someone has read your text because of that little blue check.
Right, so when they don't reply, it feels like a massive violation.
And the data on this is mind-blowing. One study showed that a, quote, long delayed response, which they defined as just 300 to 360 seconds.
Wait, like 5 minutes.
Literally just 5 to 6 minutes. That delay causes communication satisfaction to plummet.
After 5 minutes. That is unhinged.
But here's the catch. It only plummets if the read receipt is on.
Oh, wow. So if it's off, people are fine.
Yeah, if the ambiguity is there, people are vastly more forgiving of that exact same 5-minute delay.
But wait, does everyone in the world interpret this digital silence the same way? Or are we just projecting our own cultural anxieties onto a blank screen?
That is such a crucial question. The sources reveal some really fascinating findings from a study of 30 different group chats during global crises.
Right, so looking at different cultures under stress.
Exactly. And in low-context Western cultures, places like the UK or Canada, silence is usually viewed negatively.
Like passive resistance or emotional distance.
Right. If you aren't typing, you're disengaging. But in high-context cultures, it means something entirely different.
Like in Japan or South Korea, right?
Yes. There, silence is often a sign of deference to authority. It's polite emotional restraint.
That's respectful.
Exactly. And then in Arab cultures, the study looked at Iraq and Syria during crises. Silence wasn't disengagement at all.
It was a profound expression of collective mourning or fear or solidarity.
Right. And obviously, we're just impartially reporting these geopolitical examples strictly as social communication data here.
Of course. But it really shows that a blank screen means totally different things depending on where you are.
The human interpretation is so deeply localized, even if the app is exactly the same.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, in your everyday life? Let's shift from global cultures to what is physically happening inside our brains.
The neuroscience of uncertainty. This is where it gets really intense.
Constant connectivity has essentially created this permanent state of anticipation and micro-anxiety, hasn't it?
It really has. Because human brains are basically just prediction machines, we have a massive intolerance for uncertainty.
Because historically, uncertainty meant danger.
Exactly. So when a text goes unanswered, it creates an open loop in your brain.
And your brain hates an open loop.
It triggers the amygdala, which is the fear center, and the anterior cingulate cortex.
The sources had this vivid analogy that I couldn't stop thinking about. Checking someone's last seen status is exactly like playing a slot machine.
It really is. It perfectly illustrates B.F. Skinner's concept of intermittent reinforcement.
Right, the most addictive behavioral loop there is.
You check the app, you see a timestamp, and you get this tiny microdose of data.
It temporarily lowers your anxiety.
But then the anxiety returns, usually worse, and you have to pull the lever again.
And the reason we get so anxious is tied to ego threat, right?
Yes, because our brains process social exclusion using the exact same neural pathways as physical pain.
Wait, really? The exact same pathways?
Literally the same. Seeing someone online but not replying feels, neurologically speaking, like a literal physical injury.
That explains so much about why it hurts so badly. It fuels these intense social interpretation loops.
Catastrophic overthinking, and this gets incredibly toxic in long-distance relationships.
Oh, I bet.
Studies show that features like last seen statuses breed profound trust issues, jealousy, and obsessive monitoring when you can't physically see your partner.
And this dynamic even leaks into the workplace, doesn't it? The boss phubbing.
Yes, phubbing, phone snubbing, when supervisors look at their phones during one-on-one interactions.
Like, hold on, let me just check this text while you pour your heart out about this project.
Exactly. It severely erodes employee trust and organizational engagement. It destroys the psychological meaning of the work.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. I want to push back a little.
Okay, let's hear it.
We're painting this as entirely toxic, but aren't there times when a read receipt is actually a lifeline?
You know, that's a very fair point. And one of our sources argues exactly that read receipts can be an underrated love language.
Right, because in an era of burnout, long COVID, and just general existential dread.
Everyone's baseline stress is so high.
Exactly. A read receipt can function as this low-effort digital dispatch. It's like saying, hey, I'm alive, I see you, but I'm just too overwhelmed to type right now.
I love that reframing. It's a distress signal and a boundary all at the same time.
It really changes how you look at the little blue check.
It proves that the technology itself is neutral. It's the social expectations we attach to it that cause the stress.
So true. Let's synthesize this journey we've been on. We've gone from the era of slow, meaningless silence
to a hyper-accelerated digital age.
Right, where typing buttons and blue checks literally dictate our nervous systems. We've learned that technology hasn't just sped up communication.
It has completely rewired our social expectations.
It turned a simple pause into a complex psychological minefield. So if you want to reset your relationship with time, hit that subscribe button to join us for more deep dives.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, sociologists are really warning us about time poverty.
The erosion of contemplative time.
Exactly. In a world where platforms just relentlessly commodify our attention and our availability,
It's exhausting.
it is. So perhaps the ultimate act of rebellion, and really the ultimate luxury, is reclaiming temporal sovereignty.
Just owning your own time again.
What if you actively chose to step out of network time today? Turn off your read receipts, hide your status, and just let yourself be wonderfully, unapologetically unreachable.
I mean, I might just go do that right now.